सगळे आमचे CCR TV पळयणाऱ्यांक माय मोगाचो येवकार. To all our viewers of CCR TV, a warm welcome. आयचो कार्य आमचो पळय जातलो is under the title of In Conversation With. आमचे मदें आमी पळयता आख्या संवसाराक गोंयांत देखून मेंटल प्रॉब्लेम्स, मेंटल डिसऑर्डर्स और आमी म्हणटाले आदीं पिशेपणां वाडलेलीं आहा. ही मेंटल प्रॉब्लेम्स आदल्यांनी सावन आसा, पूण आतां अशें दिसून आयलां की हे चड जाल्ले आहा म्हूण. तर आमचे मदें आयज आमचोच गोंयचो भाव आसा. जाणें गोवा मेडिकल कॉलेजीन सावन ताणें MBBS केल्लें आसा आनी मागीर ताणें पोस्ट ग्रॅज्युएशन केल्लें आसा, MD केल्लें आसा इन सायकियाट्री गोवा मेडिकल कॉलेजींतल्यान. 2018 तो ऑस्ट्रेलियाक गेल्लो आसा आनी थंय ताणें आनी कोर्स आनी शिकप केलें, फेलोशीप ऑफ रॉयल ऑस्ट्रेलियन एंड न्यू झीलंड कॉलेज ऑफ सायकियाट्रिस्ट. 6 वर्सां तो आतां ऑस्ट्रेलियाक आहा आनी तो बी जावन आशिल्लो एक लेक्चरर इन सायकियाट्री एट द युनिवर्सिटी ऑफ न्यू कॅसल. ताजो पाय एक व्हडलो दोतोर आशिल्लो गोंयांत, डायरेक्टर ऑफ हेल्थ सर्विसीस. ताजो एक हॉस्पिटल आहा मिरामार आनी इश्तिबेर म्हणल्यार कोणूच तुका गोंयांत म्हाका दिसना ओळखोन ना म्हूण कोणूच आसचें ना. तर आमचे मदें आहा एक आकांत सायकियाट्रिस्ट जाचें नांव आसा डॉक्टर आजॉय इश्तिबेर. दोतोर आजॉय, माय मोगाचो येवकार तुका.
देव बरें करूं जोवीत बाब. काय बरीं उतरां तुजी. थँक्यू.
उमेद भोगता तुकडे उलोवपाक, कित्याक आमी सगळे पिशे एक्चुअली सगळो लोक पिशेपणां आहा, पूण पिशेपणां चड जालीं तेन्ना मागीर प्रॉब्लेम जाता. आनी आयच्या कारणान ही पिशेपणां वाडल्यां कित्याक? वाय डू यू थिंक सो these mental problems, mental disorders are on the rise, including even suicide. And they say that male suicides are more than the female.
जोवीत बाब, पिशेपण म्हणटा तें नोय न्हू, तें आदीं पासून आसतालें, तुका खबर आसा. आनी तेन्ना आमी म्हणटाले दिश्ट लागल्या ओ देंवचाराचें काम म्हूण. पूण सायन्स जसो प्रोग्रेस जालो, सोका गोमोन येयलें की हें आमी जें पिशेपण म्हूण वखोता तें खरेंच भाशेन पिशेपण कशें न्ही, पूण समथींग वीच इज एबनॉर्मल इन द बॉडी. सायन्सान प्रूव केलें की हें दुयेंस जोरी तर ताका आदींच रेकॉग्नायज केलें, आदींच तुका कळून येयलें की बाबा हो प्रॉब्लम आहा आनी ताजो ट्रिटमेंट तुवें सारके भाशेन कॉमेस केलो, तरी हें पिशेपण उरोना. तें दुसरे दुयेंसाचे भाशेन क्युअर जावपाक पावता. तो मनीस जो लोक पिसो म्हूण सजमतालो तो आतां कामाक वयता, शिंगोंक वयता, काजार जाता, फामील कोत्ता आनी सोका तो एक ऑलमोस्ट नॉर्मल लायफ जिवंक पावता. हें सायन्सान केलां कॉन्ट्रिब्युशन. आतां जें पिशेपण आसलें तें दॅट स्टिग्मा इज गोईंग.
ओके, आदीं म्हणटाले मेंटल आनी आमी गोंयांत म्हणटाले मेंटल हॉस्पिटलान तुका जागो घरान ना, तूं मेंटल हॉस्पिटलान वच म्हूण. आतां मेंटल हॉस्पिटलाचें नांव जावन आसा Institute of Psychiatry and Human Behavior.
Absolutely correct. So even the society is slowly realizing that what was known as mental hospital आणि लोक आपले रिलेटिवांक लिपोवन दवरताले, एक रुमान लॉक करून दवरताले. नाल्यार हांव पासून शिकतालो तेन्ना ते सायकॅट्री इन्स्टिट्यूटान येताले, बाबा आमच्या घराक काजार आहा, 10 दीस तूं म्हाका मातशें हाका दवर थिंगा, कित्याक ओखलेच्या सायडीन पळयलो जाल्यार तें काजार मोडटलें. सो दीस वॉज द स्टिग्मा. दीस डज नॉट हॅपन विथ फिजिकल इलनेसीस
ना,
बट स्लोली द सोसायटी इज नाव रियलायझिंग that this is an illness like any other. And we, as psychiatrists, doctors, even citizens have got this moral obligation to remove this stigma, because if there is stigma, this problem will remain under recognized, will remain under treated, and the mental illness will not get a chance to have its own treatment, because nobody will go for treatment, they will. So it is our bounden duty to destigmatize it. It is an illness like any other, you see. So this is our duty.
चडशे आमी पळयता हेल्थ म्हणल्यार हेल्थांत जायते आस्पेक्ट्स आसा. फिजिकल आहा तुका, मेंटल आहा तुका, सोशल आहा तुका, एनवायरमेंटल आहा तुका, स्पिरिच्युअल.
सारकें.
चडशे म्हाका दिसता आमी म्हत्वाचो म्हणटा तो फकत फिजिकल. पूण तुका दिसना की मेंटल इज मच मोर ऑल्सो इम्पॉर्टंट ऑर इक्वली इम्पॉर्टंट?
If you deeply go to analyze, Jovit, mental is very much a health issue. I think a time will come when mental health will be equal to physical health. It is the same body, It is the same body. And these illnesses, like you have mentioned, schizophrenia, for example, it is a brain problem, and brain is part of the body. It is a brain problem. It is one of the conditions where there is a degeneration of the brain functions. आता समज एक आमचो पावाचो फंक्शन डिक्रीज जालो, चलोंक जावचें ना, सारकें? तो हेंच. ब्रेनाचें फंक्शन कितें आसता? ब्रेनाचें फंक्शन आसता चिंतप, ब्रेनाचें फंक्शन आसता फील करप म्हणजे इमोशन्स, ब्रेनाचें फंक्शन आसता बिहेवियर. ही ब्रेनाचें फंक्शन
चडशें बिहेवियरांतूच गमन येता.
सो ही फंक्शन ब्रेनाची. सो जसो आमचो पावो डिजेबल जाता आनी पावां कडेन चलपाक जायना, तो हेंच सारकें चिंतप जायना, सारकें फिलींग जायना, सारकें बिहेवियर जायना, म्हणजे ब्रेन हॅज गॉट सम डिजीज, नो? सो इट इज अ प्रॉब्लम ऑफ द बॉडी. सो तो मेंटल करून ताका एक सामकें एक दुसरे भाशेन ट्रीट करप सारकें न्हू. It is a brain problem. So it has to be treated like a body problem.
But maybe because brain is enclosed in a hard skull, unlike your heart, liver, kidney, ते तुका हात लावंक देखून मेवता. पूण हे भितरले पार्टी तुका हात लावंक मेवना.
तोच प्रॉब्लम म्हणटा हांव. It is more our problem of inadequate understanding of the brain. When the science is like that, when they don't understand something, they sort of ostracize it. You remember Galileo, who said that the sun is stationary and the earth moves around it. Science did not accept, ostracized him. Science never accepts its own defeat. It will ostracize somebody else. So similarly, because we do not understand the brain, we said that is a mental problem and therefore not to be confused with physical issues. So it is our inadequate understanding that unfortunately stigmatized the brain issues. So it is our problem. So mental health is as important, equal to physical health.
I would say now, after looking at what is happening, it would be perhaps much more important than all the others.
More we understand it, more we equate it to physical health, the less it will be stigmatized, more will be the awareness, earlier will be the treatment, better will be the outcome.
Yeah, because even you look into sexual rapes and all this is also part of your brain.
Exactly. So brain, as I said, isn't it part of the body?
It is.
So it is to be treated like a body problem. You treat a kidney problem, heart problem, liver problem, like that treat a brain problem. Don't differentiate it.
Yeah. But in those days we did not have many psychiatrists as we have today.
Yes.
That means the problem is multiplying.
Yeah, problem is not multiplying. We are becoming more and more aware of it. We are becoming more and more catching it early. Because when you have more psychiatrists, naturally there is more attention to these things. And this is getting, not only psychiatrists, all mental health professionals are increasing. Psychologists are going up, counselors are going up, mental health social workers are going up. So the entire machine, it's an integration of all these resources which is improving mental health.
And earlier they used to say, no, tuzo pai hospital. So is it genetic?
It is genetic. It is genetic. But so many other conditions of the body are also genetic.
Yes.
So we are coming back to the same argument, that it is a body problem. It is following the same biological principles, genetic, physical, where it is the deficiency of the organ will result in deficiency in its functioning. So these are the biological principles. If my heart is not functioning well, I will have a deficiency of like I will be breathless, or I will have chest pain. So deficiency of the organ will produce an outcome in its functioning. So this is a biological principle, like genetics.
Yeah.
So it is the same.
Yeah, the same principle that you talk biological. Now, for example, for heart, it is advised that you check if you have any problem at 16, then 21, and then regularly 2 years or 3, after 50 more and all that. Like this, is there anything?
Yes, yes. So brain functioning will start showing itself early in life, though they say that it may actually it would become diagnosable in 20s and all that. We will be able to get some telltale signs, so in different things, cognitive, the person probably will not be as attentive as his other classmates, or he may show less interest in studies. It may even start with biological functions, not sleeping well, getting too many times away. Getting too many times.
So these abnormalities could be detected right early.
Yeah, and that will come by education of public. The more public is aware that Baba, these are the signs, more will be their understanding. Okay, my son was a good student in 7th standard, 8th standard his grades are falling, he is not paying attention. Teachers are saying that he is daydreaming in class, example, or he is also not sleeping well in class. He is saying that somebody is walking in the tiles. He is saying that somebody is putting camera. Small things. He is very scared. He used to go out with friends. Now he is staying at home. So any changes in his usual behaviors.
That means the parents would be the ideally
and teachers.
And the teachers.
And teachers.
Because what
they are the ones who are mostly in contact with this.
Yeah, but then the teachers normally they are always our curriculum and our results.
So therefore, we have to expand the curriculum to include not only what you have to teach, but also what you have to observe in the child as being different. So this has to be part of the duty or focus of the teacher's role.
Yeah, so teachers have got a special role.
Of course, teachers are the second parent.
Yes.
In fact, sometimes the child will disobey the parent and say teacher has told him.
Yes.
So much is his admiration for his teacher. So, teacher has got a very big place.
Sometimes children come late, they don't do their homework on time, they don't have good relationships. Are these the initial signs?
No, everything may not be part of the illness, Sometimes there are issues between children, there are issues between parent and children, there are issues between teachers and children. Everything is not mental illness. We have to also draw the line. Sometimes he may just require some counseling, or he may just require a little bit of a talk therapy. Sometimes we all get derailed, we need to be put in line. But if things are not falling in place despite this, then maybe you need a psychiatrist to see, is there some sign of a disease here?
I think now all our schools in Goa, at least what I know, they have counselors.
Yes, that is a very, very, very positive development in mental health awareness. Very positive, and I am very thankful to whoever has brought this arrangement in place.
Are such problems also seen in Australia where you are?
Worldwide. No country in the world is spared of mental illness or any other worldwide. Only thing in Australia, being a developed country, a lot of resources have been put in place. The whole model is structured in such a way that the person who is detected with any illness, mental, physical, gets the required help from the society. Ours is a welfare society. So there is the National Disability Insurance Scheme. There is a lot of community mental health resources. Social workers are to galo, psychologists are, clinicians are, community mental health, social work. So they all sort of are involved in that person's journey of his mental health. They provide all the supports that are needed to make sure he does not because some illnesses are not curable.
Yes.
They make sure that at least he is supported and does not deteriorate.
Yeah, and they also talk to say that dangerous driving also is another mental.
See, there is sad, mad, and bad. What is bad cannot be touched by mental health. So don't make that mental health. So dangerous driving may be bad. Also, some dangerous driving, if it's driven by a person who is not mentally ill,
Normally, it
that
is
could be
youngsters,
dangerous.
because youngsters now are in the habit of being a craze in driving the way that they want.
That's why I said everything is not mental. Some irresponsible behaviors cannot be blamed on mental health. That is, a person also has got his own, decision making capacity to decide what is good and what is not good for him. Unfortunately, youngsters who want the thrills don't pay attention to what is good.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
And of late, the number of suicide cases are on the rise. And they say that more males now than the females.
This topic of suicide, Jovito, is very close to my heart. I'll tell you why. The general impression is that a person committed suicide. हाजे म्हणणें कितें की ताणें आपलो जीव घेतलो म्हणजे तो इन्वॉल्व आशिल्लो ताजें डिसिजन तें ताणें जीव घेतलो म्हणून. नाव वॉट इज द आउटकम ऑफ दिस? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल दिस इट बिकम्स हीज एक्ट, सो ही इज ब्लेम्ड. ही कमिटेड सुसायड पयलें. दुसरें which is even more, तो मेलो गेलो. Now the family is left wondering, हांवें कितें केलें काय, आमी कितें केलें काय, कसो हाका साल्वार करूंक जातालें, केन्ना तो चेंज जालो, आमकां कांय गमोंक ना. A confusion. I know families personally who have gone through this confusion of emotions, not one emotion, confusion of emotions. There is emotion of guilt that I was responsible in some way not to prevent it. There is a thing of anger. तुवें केलें गेलें, तुवें कांय चिंतोंक ना आमचें, anger towards the dead person. There is frustration. लोक इंसात्ता, पोत्तून इंसात्ता, कितें जालें काय, I'm frustrated, I'm not even, I'm confused, I don't know what explanation to give. That's why you'll see many families of suicide, they'll say, nah, he got a heart attack. Depression, of course. So, confusion of emotions, they themselves go through a lot of mental agony.
That is the family now.
Goes through a lot of mental agony. What I want to, is that many times, not all the time, but many times, suicide may not be a voluntary act, may not be a conscious act, where the consciousness, and here I will just slightly go into an explanation to put forward before our viewers that the mind and the brain may be two different things, though they look like one. I'll give you an example. आता ही ट्यूब लायट पळय तूं, आमकां दिसता की this light belongs to the tube, एक कशें दिसता तें, but this tube only has got the elements to express the light. The light is not of the tube. Or if you have a computer, the computer, and तूं एक Google program पळयता कंप्युटराचेर, Google करून एक प्रोग्राम येयलो, दिसता तें Google program कंप्युटराचें म्हूण, पूण तें कंप्युटराचें न्हू. Computer has got all the elements to express that program, but it does not belong to the. So similarly, the mind and brain are two different things. The mind is what we are conscious, the consciousness that comes through our ears, our eyes, our touch, our taste, they come through our senses and gives us the feeling of, that is the conscious mind. The I part, where decisions are made, the I. The brain is the machine that expresses this, like the computer expresses the Google program. Now, having established that they may be two separate but look like one, let me give you an example of how I can, some functions of my body will operate even without my conscious mind. Let us say you come like this to me. I will do this. Now, in this act, which has been extremely fast. It has not involved I did not have time to take a decision whether to do this or not to do this. It happened by reflex. Or if a dog crosses the road and my car is speeding, I will brake. There is no conscious mind involved there. It has happened all of a sudden. Many times you might have driven, Jovit, for about 1 kilometer. You have taken the right turns, you have pressed the right pedals, you have stopped at the lights, and after you have reached the place, because you were thinking of something else, you don't even know that you have driven. It has happened to you, no? It happened to all of us.
Zata.
So the machine is able to operate by itself. So when something happens which the brain may not be able to handle, like a computer surge of electricity highly, and the computer is not able to handle, computer will go and shut down, no? At that time Google is not involved in this. Computer will go because it cannot handle. So something happens, like let us say some situation comes which the brain recognizes that it will not be able to handle. The brain will go into shutdown, and it will then recruit all the processes like our brain, our nerves, our muscles to do this action. All the processes will get activated even to end life. So if this action can be done, all the actions to end life also can be done without involvement of the conscious brain. So the whole idea of which may sound complicated, the whole idea of putting this in front of the audience is only to say that Baba, the conscious mind, which is the I part, may not be involved in the act of suicide. Not all the time, but many times, because many times I have spoken to survivors of suicide and they have said, I don't know what came over me at that time.
There's no explanation per se.
No. Sometimes itli jam eta, there's a part of your conscious mind trying to keep these muscles open, eye open. But a time comes when the physiological process takes over and you sleep despite your conscious mind trying not to sleep. So if I try to equate that, at that point of time when that I was trying to keep awake, so at that point of time when my conscious mind was trying to fight this process which was taking place, if I could get help at that time, I would be saved.
Now,
so I have to recognize that I am getting this, and this comes through maybe psychoeducation. But what I want to say is that committed suicide is not a right word, because it is blaming that person. When I refer to this, I say he was a victim of suicide. I never say committed.
A victim of the victimization could be due to different factors.
Yes. Heart can fail due to 100 factors, no? When the heart cannot manage the situation, the time will come when the situation in the body is not compatible with life. Heart will give way. It is not so situation comes when this thing is not compatible with life. It will give way.
Yeah.
So it will start recruiting all those things to not to continue life.
So if you have such tendencies, could they be diagnosed?
So depression or schizophrenia or bipolar illness, they can set into motion the cascade or the sequence of steps that can lead to suicide. So when a person has these conditions, we have to make sure that his treatment is constant, consistent, and he is sort of in Australia, in developed countries, you have a monitoring mechanism. There is a community mental health team monitors them and makes sure that they are well. But despite that, it happens. It happens.
There must be also suicide cases in
worldwide.
Worldwide.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That happens.
Yeah.
That you can.
But of late, it has been seen that more males now, males are outnumbering the females.
See, there are certain hormones in the female. They say estrogen and all that, which are neuroprotective, which males don't have. They are neuroprotective. They have a protective function over the brain. So that could be one of the possible reasons. Females, because of their childbearing functions and all, are more resilient to handling issues in life. They are quite multitaskers, They can also bear a child, they can also do housework, they can also, I have very great respect for the female gender, because they are much more capable than the male gender. Sorry for the males, but they are much more capable. So that being the case, their resilience is higher. Their ability to handle stress is more, because I told you, estrogen is a protective hormone. Males don't have that. So that could be one explanation of why male suicides are more.
Yeah. A good counseling would be very effective.
Absolutely. Because counseling or giving a person strategies of how to manage the situation. Let me give you an example. Let us say I don't know how to drive a car, and I'm sitting in the car for the first time in my life. Somebody has taught me given me a lecture of how to drive, but I'm never sat with me. And one truck is coming in the opposite direction. Now, because I don't know what to do now, I feel very, very scared and anxious, and I will jump out of the car to avoid
the collision.
Now, let me say that 1 month down the line, somebody actually sat with me, handheld me, and taught me how to drive the car. And now 100 trucks will pass by. I'm not even bothered. Because what has changed? The traffic has not changed, the car has not changed. I have changed. I have learned skills which have converted me from non-driver to driver. So I can handle that situation of the truck coming, and I know what to do. So that knowing what to do has changed the whole situation of me running out from the car, which could be an act of suicide, to handling the situation. So I have learned skills. So when you say counseling or psychological therapy is the giving skills to me to be able to handle situations which I could not handle before. So that is important.
Yeah. Another big problem that we see nowadays is drugs, and more youth are seen into these drugs. What is the real scenario now?
No, unfortunately, I think this is a political thing. If there is political will, I feel the drug situation could have been curbed. In the Middle East, where there are drugs, there are no drugs. It's an offense punishable by death.
Yes, it is.
So, if drugs become freely available, the youth, will always have that need to experiment. They will see their peers are having a good time with the drugs, so they will experiment with that. So, youth vulnerability or vulnerability to taking drugs is one part of the problem. The second part of the problem is how much committed are we as a society and as a government to curb that availability.
But drugs are available. In Goa, for example, even the sunburn, I was told that the JMC had problems with a lot of people who had consumed drugs.
No, even when I was practicing in Goa, we used to have a lot of problems after a big music festival or something, because drugs were freely available and youth are going to experiment, you see. So, as I said, it's a dual problem. It's a problem of consumption, it's a problem of availability. Both have to be.
Yeah, but around the schools, I believe, there are places where today drugs are freely available.
Again, no. So, somehow that has to be dealt with an iron hand.
And it's not necessarily that well-to-do children from well-to-do parents are into their drugs.
Anybody who has got that vulnerability will fall prey and get addicted.
Yes. So, and once addicted, how difficult or easy is to come out of it?
As difficult or as easy as any other addiction like alcohol or anything. It then depends on a lot of other things also, like willpower and his commitment to stay away. So that is something which is an individual thing. But the prevention is better than cure, old saying.
Yes.
We have to make sure that they are not available.
Yes.
Once it's available, and then you fall prey to it, and then all crimes and all come from there.
Yes. And when you were at Goa Medical College in those days, you had also the similar problem?
Yeah, drugs is a very old problem. Not that it is come now. Only now the drugs have got more sophisticated. More and more newer compounds are coming. People are experimenting more. And in those days there was only the old age drugs like cannabis and heroin and LSD. And now there are lots of chemicals with sophisticated big names that are in the market. And it is a pity that youth are using chemicals to mess their brain.
Is it also the problem in the place where you are now?
It's a problem worldwide unless there is a political mandate not to have it, like Middle East.
Yes.
It's a problem everywhere.
Yeah. But these mental problems per se, are they controllable by and large?
See, an illness, I have a favorite saying which I use very often. The rain is not in your hand, umbrella should have been. Problem, if it has to come, will come. You cannot help it. Genetic, personal, biological vulnerability, whatever stress that you cannot handle, whatever may be the cause, it will come. If we are educated right from the beginning, both as parents, teachers, more, and there is awareness, we will be able to start treatment earlier, we will be able to be aware of it earlier, we will be able to do something about it earlier, and all the protective mechanisms can be put in place. So the umbrella, if it is big and early, not after the rain starts, you look for the umbrella, you won't find it. You have to know that you have to have it even before the rain starts, in the rainy season.
Okay. And when we talk of drugs, at what age mostly they start experimenting with them?
Teenagers, no? Teenagers get it freely in college, or teenagers get it during they go with their friends. I think it starts in teens.
Yeah. And what do you say about alcohol?
Same thing. And we are a very permissive society. Alcohol is freely available. So again,
Alcohol also is a drug.
yes.
Only it is illicit drug.
And I mean, others are illicit. Alcohol is not illicit. It is legal.
Yes.
But then each one has got his threshold. No, if you start getting addicted to it, and then it is going to be a problem.
Yes.
So it is like that. So alcohol dependence also is like any other health problem. It's a
And when you take treatment for all your mental problems or illnesses, it's lifelong?
yeah, but so is diabetes, so is hypertension, so is kidney, which very few, like an infection, acute infection, which is curable in after taking a course of antibiotics. Tell me, Jovito, which condition is not your lifelong companion?
So it's your chronic.
Yes, any disease is your lifelong companion.
Yes. And
We should instead of fighting it, accept it and do something about it. That's why I
Yeah.
said you cannot fight the rain. You can carry your umbrella.
you need to carry an umbrella to prevent.
Yes. To protect yourself from the rain.
Yes.
You see.
And when you talk about mental problems, can you diagnose them at the first instance?
So we have got criteria. We have got DSM criteria. We have got ICD criteria. So we need a particular amount of time for that symptom to be present to be able to provide an official diagnosis.
Yes.
So that varies from illness to illness, but you need that time. But it also gives us an opportunity to be wary, to monitor it and to make sure whether it is really progressing, whether it is remaining. But once we know that it has taken that much of amount of time, and then we give the official diagnosis, and then that official diagnosis is important for many things, for treatment, for in Australia especially for getting the necessary resources. We got something called NDIS scheme, National Disability Insurance Scheme. So where resources get recruited to ensure that the person is protected. Then you have got disability pensions. So that's why diagnosis is important.
In the earlier days in the mental hospital in Altin, it was there.
Yeah.
Even there were people who were being chained.
Yeah, it is before my time.
Okay.
We have not, but you are right. People were treated. I am sorry to use the word like animals in the 18th century and all. They were treated like animals. They were treated as if they were the demonic representatives on earth. They were treated like that. They were whipped and they were treated worse than slaves because they felt that mental illness, that means there is a spirit which is governing that man, and he is possessed.
Yeah, but today it's no longer so.
Not at all. No. And more we have to bring science into it. It is a brain problem. Like how you have other functions of the body, this is a function of the brain. So it's a brain problem.
Are there very specific tests that you could do, like for heart? you have got so many diagnostic tests
No,
and
we don't
all
have
that.
we don't have laboratory tests. We don't have laboratory tests. I'm hope that in future, there are we will be able to make laboratory tests. But we can diagnose them from the, as I said, thinking, feelings, and behavior, and your cognitive functions. We can come to a diagnosis when there is a disintegration or there is a lasting, if I must say lasting or protracted effect, negative effect on these functions of the brain. We come to know that there is a mental illness, and this mental illness needs to be recognized and treated.
Yeah, there are some people, for example, who habitually come late, despite being told you are late, you are late. And
So
there are others also who you ask them a question, before you finalize the question, they are there with your answer.
Yeah.
Are these also problematic?
So these are lots of things are personality issues also. A person's personality, the way he is structured. Sometimes some people are like that. They may not be responsible. These are personality attributes, that they are your qualities. So if you have a quality of not being able to respect time, you are going to be habitually late. That is not a mental illness. Illness is something which can do something with treatment, or you recognize it as a disorder of the function. Now this is something that he is not being able to be a responsible individual.
Yes, yes. There can be also cases where children do not do their homework regularly.
So that's why I said, everything is not mental illness. It could be that the child is not doing homework for many reasons. Maybe he has to work after school. Maybe his parents are having problems. Maybe he is the lazy boy. So there are everything, as I said, I started by saying everything which looks wrong is not mental illness. There is sad, mad and bad. We have got nothing to do with bad, only sad and mad.
So and what's the distinction between sad and bad?
Sad and bad?
Yes.
A bad boy is I think will get corrected by the stick, not mental illness.
Yeah.
So I think you'll have to have principles of punishment and reward for that boy.
Okay. And when you say bad?
Bad. I'm
Yes,
talking of bad.
Bad. Yeah. And sad?
Yeah. So sad is basically emotions, that not being able to see. I've always said ability to walk and talk is a function of the brain. So is ability to feel joy, and ability to feel pleasure, ability to have the motivation, ability to have will. These are functions of the brain. People sometimes really punish children because they don't have the motivation, but it is a function of the brain. It has to be recognized as a function of the brain.
And how would you rate corporal punishment, which today has been abolished?
So corporal punishment was, I think, an outcome of the people, the governing people, the teachers, the parents, not understanding the child and thinking all his behaviors was bad, not getting into the details of why is he behaving like that.
But psychology and psychiatry is a new development.
It has been there for a long time, but I
Yes.
think the awareness is more now.
It's more now.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Because we never heard so many psychologists, for example. Psychiatrists also now, the large number. That means there is a big problem.
Yeah, problem was always there. It was not recognized. It was
Okay.
always there.
It was there.
Yes. All these
But this
illnesses-
magnitude,
So we are recognizing it more
okay, because of the recognition.
because of recognition. We are recognizing it more, and we are doing something about it.
So, and there are tools to
Yeah.
measure.
So there are what we call psychometric tests, where we are able to do rating on each function, and then as the treatment progresses, we can see how that rating improves. So that way we have got sort of guides.
And do these people need rehabilitation centers or?
So if it's a problem of addiction, or if it's a problem of mental health issues, which the person has lost some skills, he does not have the skill to be able to have an attention span, or he doesn't have a skill to work, or he doesn't have the skill to do his own shopping, or he doesn't have the skill to do his own bathing, grooming, whatever, or cooking. So rehabilitation helps to sort of develop these skills and get them to a level. The whole objective is to make that person more and more independent. So that is the mental health rehabilitation. Addiction rehabilitation is different
Is
for
different.
alcohol and drugs. That is more to find and behaviors to address your craving, to address your dependence, to address those behaviors which promote addiction, to address those. So by and large they are related, but they are different.
Yeah, and sometimes we come across people who habitually say, "Oh, I forgot to do that. I don't know how I forgot and all that." Is that also a problem?
Yeah.
Or?
So forgetting, there is normal forgetting. All of us forget. But if it becomes too much and it sort of starts dominating, that forgetting is completely dominating my functioning, then we have to investigate. It may not be a mental illness, it could be a brain illness. I mean, a different part of the brain which governs our memory. It could be that issue. In old age, you might be knowing, that dementia, where a person, so if you're talking about forgetting in a person who was not forgetting before and now he's 70 years old and he's forgetting, probably that dementia could be setting
Yeah,
in.
it could be Alzheimer's also.
Yes, Alzheimer is one of the dementias.
Or one of the dementias which is
Correct,
there.
correct.
So, but they are different from the mental illnesses per se.
Yes, I mean it's all under the. If you take the whole umbrella, everything
Comes
in
under,
the end comes to the brain. But mental illnesses, by and large, are restricted to thinkings, feelings, and behaviors. That is sort of mental. The mental part of the brain is that.
Yeah, and
But these are functions of the brain, huh?
yes,
in
it
the end.
is. It is. It is the function of the brain.
Yeah.
And Parkinson's.
Again, Parkinson's is another condition of the brain, which involves the parts of our brain which are responsible for smooth, coordinated movement. So that part, when it is affected, that smooth coordination movement doesn't happen.
But normally all these three, dementia, Alzheimer, Parkinson, they come at a very late stage.
Yeah, or if there is an injury to the brain for some reason,
Yes.
that brings it early.
Yeah.
Pre-senile dementia.
Yeah. But unlike the problems of mental disorders that we are talking, they are normally, I think, manifested between 20 and 30 or...
These.
Yes.
Those are manifested after the age of 65 and all.
Yes, yes.
The dementias.
Yes. So the critical period for the other problems, mental problems, would be at what age?
Which mental problems, Jovito?
For example, now you have a suicidal tendency.
So suicide is an outcome. It could be an outcome of many things. It could be an outcome of depression. It could be an outcome of bipolar illness. It could be an outcome of schizophrenia. It could be an outcome of stress, as I said, it could be an outcome of many things. So suicide in teenagers is rare, but not absent. It can happen in teenagers also, but usually young adulthood.
Young adulthood.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think we have covered the entire range of mental problems,
Yeah.
mental disorders that we have.
Yes.
And it is, I think, for the parents and the teachers to take special care of the children who go to the school and the children at home.
To be vigilant. The take-home message is whenever you feel that a child is not performing or is not up to a benchmark, extra attention needs to be given. And I'm very happy that the school counselors are there, because school counselors will be the first filter to channelize this to the right resource.
Yeah, they have a very special role.
That is a very positive development.
Yeah. So I must thank you, Dr. Ajoy, for
pleasure.
being with CCR TV
Thank
and educating all of us on this vital component. We wish you all the best and thanks once again.
And wish everybody a year with positive mental health.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.